After rain comes sunshine. When one door opens, another one closes. For something new to arise, something old must die. Something that is very interesting when it comes to rebirth is that unlike death, that is very real in every sense of the word, rebirth is actually not a part of our sort of materialistic reality. We're going to go into some of these sort of symbolic examples, of course, Gandalf and stuff like that, Neo, and we're just about to get into it. But rebirth, in some sort of way, is a very, very real thing in our lives. And we're going to explain that by going over karma cycles inside your life, how you actually create heaven or hell as you are reborn inside of your own life, and how every parent is reborn as their child. But first, let's get into the movie stuff. The Lion King might be the best individuation movie, but the Dark Knight trilogy is certainly the most blunt, on-the-nose description of individuation. Every episode in this series so far is in the story of Batman. From his paradise life, like Truman, before his parents dies, which is the same sort of fall that creates the ego, like when Mufasa or Bambi's mother dies. Batman is the persona, and just like with Hercules, it is created out of fear. But Batman's fear isn't not to be loved, his is primal. The fear that he felt when he saw his parents get shot, and the fear that he felt when falling down the well and getting swarmed by bats. This fear is a complex that rules his entire life, and he projects it onto the criminals that he fights. He uses fear as a weapon, like a magician. He learns how to craft illusions and use the darkness to great effect. But just like Neo and just like every human on this planet, there will come a time when the old way of doing and being won't cut it anymore. Neo tries to run, shoot, fight, because that is what he has been taught. Batman, of course, runs into Bane. The name itself declares his role. He is the Bane of Batman. He is the kryptonite. He is the fist of reality that crashes into Bruce Wayne's face. Batman really is a magician, and Bane is the warrior that doesn't care much for magic tricks.
Theatricality and deception. Powerful agents to the uninitiated. Oh, you think darkness is your ally?
He breaks Bruce Wayne and symbolically kills the Batman. His mask is shattered and Batman is gone. Bruce ends up in the pit, which is the same sort of death descent that is the Matrix or the Labyrinth or the deep unconscious, the underworld, or the fall, the black hole which Gandalf falls into. And he cannot get out of it if he keeps holding on to his fear, because his fear is the rope that holds him back from making the jump. Only after shedding his skin, letting go of everything old, can he be reborn. I want you to think about this very carefully for a moment. Karma and what it means. Reincarnation. If you think about heaven and hell not as places we go after we die, but states that we create here on earth in this life by the consequences of our actions, think of karma in the same way. In a way, you die and reincarnate every time you go to sleep and wake up. In a way, every day is a small life. Every week is a slightly larger cycle with 7 days within it. How you live your life will via karma cause your rebirth to be good or bad. Being born as a bug in the next cycle is not literal per se. If you act in a way that creates bad karma, if you act sinfully rather than virtuously, your life will become what you repeat. Habits stack up, and if you lie, cheat, steal, and treat others badly, it will catch up to you. The 7 deadly sins are some of the most sort of perfect descriptions of how karma hits you in real life, in the whatever it is that you are trying to sort of do will come back to you in a worse way. So think about this. In many ancient texts and books, they talk about rebirth and reincarnation via your children. Not literally, but kind of literally. It is not hard to understand how the sins of the father is something that follows or punishes the child, karmically. Simba is of course Mufasa reborn, afflicted by the sins of his father, his naive nature that Simba must learn to overcome. It is not only his own shadow, but also the shadow of his father. And just as Bruce Wayne has to let go of his fear, Simba has to let go of, and this is going to hurt the feelings of a lot of millennials, the weakness that got Mufasa killed. He understands that to be a good king, a just and fair king, one cannot be weak against evil. The old Neo has to die in order for the chosen one to take his place. Because as long as there is no death, the complex will continue to rule, because the complex is the meta frame that isn't something you can identify. And once you are reborn, free from the shackles and infections of others, then you are becoming whole yet again. And the phoenix, of course, is the most beautiful symbolic expression of this whole ordeal. Of course, we have the crucifixion and the resurrection of Jesus Christ, but something that we are all very familiar with is the phoenix that burns, dies, and then hatches again. In the next episode, we will talk about the self as seen through an external mirror that is not the anima or animus. So stay tuned.
Fox is a phoenix, Harry. They burst into flame when it is time for them to die, and then they are reborn from the ashes.